Hello and welcome to another episode of Let's Play Hull City in Football Manager 2018. And this is, of course, the first episode of our third season in the Premiership, the fourth season overall for this series. And the pre-season is over. It's time for the first game of the season, and now it's up to us to find out what have been going on. Well, first off, the board announced that a new stadium is to be built, but they said it's going to be a long process, and they didn't know like when it was like any facts. Like everything was like to be announced, like what price or what size or everything was just to be announced in the future. But they just told me that they have started the process for a new stadium, but we don't know anything about it, and it's going to be exciting because our stadium is basically filled out each single game because they're very small ones you can see here with 2,000, 25,000 capacity is always sold out. The second thing is, of course, the transfer window, and it's been a difficult one. It's been a really difficult one because I thought that maybe, just maybe, being in Europe will make things a little bit easier, but it's kind of been this situation where um, players that would be like, whoa, really good signings, they have no interest in joining us because we are a too small club for them. And the players that are left are either like kind of the similar level to the players we currently have, or just above them, or slightly above them. Which means like if you're going to sign somebody, we kind of have to pay crazy amounts of money for somebody that doesn't really improve the team. So after spending most of the summer with like really scouting players, trying to find stuff out, experimenting, I decided that okay, we really can't sign any big names right now. But it's going to change in the future if we manage to get into the Champions League. But right now, the players we can sign is just not worth the money they would cost us. So I decided to instead just focusing on youngsters, players that could become those world class names in the future. They aren't right now, but they have the potential to become that. And then maybe next season, maybe we're going to sign bigger names, maybe not. We'll have to wait and see. So let's take a look at the transfers here and the transfer history. So first off, a few players have left us. Alex Moreno, you might remember him. He kind of played one season for us, or maybe two seasons, but he was rotating. He played 16 games during our first season of the save. We got him very cheap, 1.3 million. And then he played 12 games for our first season in the Premiership, and after that we loaned him out for two straight seasons, and now it was time to sell him on. And I feel like a good deal. He did a decent job when we used him. We got him really cheap, and we sold him on with a huge profit. And there's actually some clauses here that will like 100% happen. So it's more like we are going to get, I believe it's around 20, maybe 21 million euros that we are guaranteed to get. So I feel like it's good stuff here. And then we signed on Hernandez. You know Hernandez. He was a goal scoring machine back in the days. Been with us for many seasons. Been loaned out during last season, and now we sold him on. There's also some clauses here. Won't reach it much, but maybe up to 9 mil, maybe. And then we actually sold on Fabregas. And the reason for us selling on Fabregas is that he is 33 years old. He will turn 44. His mentals is still fantastic. His technical is pretty good, but he is injured prone. Luckily for us, he didn't get any long injuries, but he was like kind of injured every other game, like out for 2-3 days. And we know that he will just decline. He will get even more injuries, and his value will be gone. So when we got an offer for him, I actually decided to accept it. It was 6 mil. We got him for free. And yeah, I sold him. Weird, never made it to our first team. We sold him. Here is this maybe a surprising one, and that's Koki. And I had no plan at all to sell him. My intent was to use him during the next season. But the thing, what happened was that a little bit earlier during the preseason, an agent contacted me and told me that his player is available. And I started scouting that player, and I became very interested in that player. And then a few weeks later, I just got an offer out of the blue from Burnley for Coke, and yeah, I decided to sell him. Kind of the same like with Fabregas. Really good, really good mentals, pretty decent technicals, but getting old, will turn 34 during the season. I would probably just have used him for one more season, but that made me go the other one way around and sign a replacement. And that player was Paslak. And those red arrows right here is not very encouraging. But his agent contacted me, said that this lad is interested in, or his players available. I started scouting him. And of course, if you played Football Manager before, you know about Paslak is a very promising right defender. I scouted him, he looked fantastic. And he was pretty cheap for almost 5 million euros. I would say 5, 15. But yeah, looking at these stats, his age, I think this is a great signing. And yeah, when I got that offer for Coke, and at the same time this happened, I felt like, yeah, we have to do it. We have to sign him. And that was basically that. Already tutor, look at his determination, professional. He was tutor about by the guy that benched him, some Russian right defender that his club preferred over him. But yeah, I think that was a really good signing. We got this youngster as a free transfer, and I'm not sure if he ever going to make it in a first team squad. I don't think so, but we got him for free, and we could probably loan him out for a few seasons, get his value up, selling on for some money. Then we signed this lad, 300k, basically nothing. Look at this, he's 18. These physicals looks great, really promising mentals. He just need to devolve on the technical side. And I feel like for that amount of money, we just can't go wrong. And then we might have overspent a slightly bit, but one of the things I really wanted to change for this season, we have had like too many playmakers. I really wanted to get a player into the midfield that wasn't a playmaker. I would prefer a box to box, but I was open for many options. And I was scouting basically every box to box in the game, and that they didn't want to join us, or they were overpriced, or they were just not good enough. So I decided to go for this youngster instead. And it is a risky move, because looking at his physicals and his physicals and mentals really looks like he has the potential to become a world-class player. His technicals is not quite there yet, and I paid over 20 million for him. If his technical skills can develop and reach these heights, it will be a great signing. But we'll have to wait and see. I might have overpaid a bit for him, but I'm hoping that his technical side will pick up just as his mentals and physicals. And looking at this was one of the main reasons that I actually decided to go for him, because he can basically play in any role. Look at this. Look at this, he can play like every single role. Makes it fantastic, versatile. We can use him for basically everything we want to in the midfield. Everything we need to, he's there to do the job. And that was kind of what scored a winner for me. And we actually have one more transfer that won't go through until the January window. And that is, let's see if I can find him. This guy from Rangers. Look at his stats. Look at his stats. He's only 17 years old. Only 17 years old. It's crazy stats, and of course, it might be another playmaker for us. But with these stats at only 17, I had to sign him. Fantastic stats. Just crazy. But he won't join us until the January window. Yeah, that's a transfer. So I was hoping for something big, something fancy. It didn't happen. And instead I had to focus on youngsters. We'll have to see if it was a good or a bad decision. Only time will tell. And talking about the preseason, yes, as every season, I have no idea why my assistant manager do that, because I haven't setting up the friendlies. But just like every season, we only get friendlies against like very weak teams, which means those friendlies don't say much. And then we had the Euro Cup qualifications. and we won them big. Lapadula scoring a hat-trick. And for me, I felt like this is the season where Keane need to overtake Lapadula as a main striker to keep on developing. And then, of course, Lapadula decides to start the season with a hat-trick. And now I'm undecided again. I don't know what to do. Talking about the league, and let's take a look at the season preview. Media predicts us in 9th place. And they also predicted Lapadula to be the second biggest favorite to win top goal scorers. So we'll have to see how that goes. Bournemouth, that ended up with a sensation 3rd place last season, is only predicted to be down to 7. But yeah. There is one, maybe 2 more things I want to show you. There's one new player in our team that's kind of not new, but he's been in our youth team, as you can see here for the history. This is his 3rd season with us. He will be rotating now in our defense. I decided to loan out Lucas and go with this lad instead, because he needs to play if he wants to keep on developing. And I can't loan him out because we're only international clubs that wanted to loan him. And he needs to play another season with us to become homegrown. But he has a great potential, really good tackling, really good marking, heading, his weakness. But he is the guy that's going to be rotating with Costas and Suma instead of Lucas that did it last season. So Lucas is loaned out instead. But I think that's it. I think that's it. So, oh yeah, one more thing I need to mention is it's been the Olympics. And because of that, Afonso Sosa and Branagh, they played all the way through the Olympics. They come back very tired just before this game. So I've actually sent them on holiday to regain some fitness. And that will, of course, be a slight weakness for us, because they are two of our best players. But I still feel like it's the right decision to give them a rest. It was actually a bit frustrating, because Keane was for Italy's U23 team. So all the guys that played for the U23 in the Olympics, all of them more or less missed all the preseason. The problem was with Keane was that, as you know, for the Olympics, you're allowed to bring in, I think it's 3 overage players, and Italy decided to bring in Belotti. So of course he played as a striker every single game, and Keane barely played at all. And that's not great. Not great at all, because it would have been perfect for him to work on his first team experience playing in the Olympics for Italy, but now he was mostly on the bench, and that wasn't great. But yeah, it's time for our first game of the season. We are playing at home versus West Ham. It's been a very, very long intro. This will be a very long episode, so hopefully we can make a quick work of West Ham here and get off to the start we wanted, because maybe, I'm not sure, we have a lot of young players, and all those young players hopefully become stronger and stronger for each season, because they are young and they keep on developing. But which should mean that our team becomes, even if we don't sign any fancy names, hopefully our team becomes better each season. But I'm not sure if we're going to be able to compete for a spot in the Champions League yet. Probably not, since we just barely managed to reach the EuroLeague this season. But I mean, this Champions League is obviously the next target for us, the dream. And look at this. Who is it but Lapadula? This guy can't stop scoring, and it's really troublesome for me, because I really want to play Keane. But how can I bench a goal-scoring machine? Last game he played, as I show you in the qualification, he scored a hat-trick, and now he scored his first league goal of the season. Actually got an offer for him during the summer window from Napoli. Wanted to sign him, and they offered 20 million for him, and I kind of considering selling him. The problem was that the offer came, I think it was on deadline day. Oh my god, it's the second one. I think it was on deadline day or the day before deadline day. So I felt like if I could negotiate it up to maybe 30 mil, I would consider it. But since it was basically on deadline day, I wouldn't have time to replace him. So if I would have signed another striker, had a long time to do it, I think it would have been a good decision, because Lapadula is 30 now, so he will start declining, and that would give more room to Keane. But I mean, I felt like there weren't enough time to actually replace him because I need two strikers. And here is potentially near for Dembele. Going to wait until halftime and then going to replace him. But yeah, scoring 2 goals now. Clearly, it's going to be very hard to bench him. I'm not sure how to do it. And yeah, other than that, another thing that's been and that's unfortunate. But yeah, another thing that's been troublesome since Brexit happened, I think it's like 2 seasons ago, is that it's really hard to loan up youngsters. Because I have quite a few promising youngsters in my youth teams. And I want them to become homegrown, which means I kind of have to loan them out to other clubs in England. But since that change to the Brexit brought in, those players who count like foreign players, just like players from South America or Africa or things like that, which means more or less the UK or the English clubs have no interest in loaning my youth players that are from other nations than England. And that's a bit worrisome because that's going to. Oh, I forgot to sub Dembele. Let's go watch his highlight first. But yeah, that's will hinder their development, and that's one of the reasons that Costas is playing this season. Not Costas, but when I say Costas, that youth central defender I showed before. Because I would probably prefer to loan him out for a season and use Lucas as my rotating lad. But he needs to become homegrown, and that's the hat trick for Lapadula. My God, 2 competitive games this season, 2 hat tricks. How do you stop this man? How do you stop him? This is just crazy. But yeah, that's one of the reasons that youth defender will play this season, because I really can't have him in my U23 team. He's so talented. He needs to play games if he's going to keep on developing. And yeah, there's been a few cases like that, a few players that I kind of can't loan out because of that situation. And that's worrisome for the future, because they need more first team experience to keep on developing. They can actually start fighting for a spot in my first team in a season or two. A clock is ticking away here, and here's something going to happen. Costas picks that one up. Oh, I also got offers for Costas during the summer. I don't remember what team it was that tried to sign him, but I got offers for him for, I believe. The problem is, probably the weird thing is, he's worth like, I believe he's worth like 20 million euros, according to the game's value thing. The offers I got for him was like 13, 14 mil. And that's the 4th goal for Lapadula. This is crazy. This is insane. But yeah, I got offers for him. It was like, first off, I have no intent in selling him. But if you want to make me interested in selling him, you should make offers above his value, not below his value. So of course he never left. And another thing that got me a bit worried was another of my central defenders, Suma. Barcelona became interested in him. But luckily for me, they never made any offers, because I feel like that would have made him very unhappy if I declined an offer for them. Because I didn't have any intent selling him. There were another club, I think it was Porto, might remembering wrong. There was another club that actually made an offer for him, and I turned it down, and he didn't care. But if Barcelona would have made that offer, then probably things will change. And actually, I don't think the transfer window in Spain has closed yet. It has closed in England, which means maybe us fearing Barcelona might not be over yet. Something could happen here. But those 4 goals for Lapadula, I feel it's time. You'll have to go. Let's bring in Keane. He needs to play instead. You had your fun, Lapadula. You keep on giving me trouble benching you. Like, how can I bench him when he scores like that? It's just very tough for me. Very, very tough. But it looks like we're off to a beautiful start of a season here. Nice, easy win at home versus West Ham. But something can happen here before the full-time whistle. And maybe it's going to happen for us. Here is Keane, the newly sub Keane, links up with Chamberlain. Chamberlain, what will he do? Oh, Paslak back to Chamberlain. Chamberlain back to Paslak. A lot of players in the box. Here's a long cross, clear by the goalkeeper. And here's Gnabry. Gnabry finds. Oh my god, it was really. It's not over. Here's Gnabry. And that just puts an end to a really, really beautiful, fantastic game. And that's considering that two of our best players, Sosa and Branniga, are on holiday and we still start the season like this. Well, I'm very, very, very pleased, I must say. Really pleased. And I mean, with those 4 goals, I mean, Lafadula, he's already set to win the top goal scorer. He didn't do it last season. He were in second place, I believe, maybe third place as top goal scorer of the league. I think it was second place. But I mean, with a start like this, he's off to something crazy here. Look at that 9.3 rating, 3 assists by Alberto Moreno, sensational. 9.1 rating by the Ox. And of course, this 9.8 rating, 4 goals. That's just insane. And that means we're probably topping the league. I'm guessing we are. We should be. Yes, we are. With that crazy goal scoring. So yeah, this was a very long episode. We need to end it right now, but we started it crazy, crazy, crazy. Yeah, beautiful as always. Thank you so much for sharing your time with me, and I'll see you in the next episode.